Alright, final day of the week for social studies instructionally. Tomorrow you guys will take your MOQ. You have all the information you need to do well on it. Expect to see great grades. Today we're going to look at the differences between urban life and rural life. We're just going to touch on it for a second. I'm going to introduce push and pull factors, and then we're going to talk about the migration of Acadians from Canada. Again, not a long day video-wise because you're going to have lots of hands-on practice, lots of Quizlet, and lots of term review for tomorrow's quiz. So let's jump right into it. Urban. Urban is city. City. Rural. Rural is farm or country. Really simple. Gonna keep it really simple today, guys. Urban. Push and pull factors. Well, first I want to introduce the terms push factor and pull factor. You should have seen this in 6th grade, maybe a little bit in 7th grade, and now you're going to see it a lot in 8th grade. A push factor is a reason for somebody to leave an area. Something bad happens, people leave. That's a push factor. A pull factor is a reason to come to an area. The single greatest pull factor for an urban area is jobs. Why do people live in cities? Because there's jobs. Why did I come to New Orleans? Because there's jobs. Push factors tend to include like crowding or it's more expensive. But the major thing I want you to understand for urban areas is that the pull factor is jobs. Now, when looking at this exact same thing for rural living, again, we're going to look at push factors and we're going to look at pull factors. The major push factor for rural is lack of jobs. So I have the pull factor for urban being jobs and I have the push factor for rural being jobs. It's the number one reason why people move. So how are you going to support your family? With a job. So if there's not one in a rural area, you got to go to a city. Again, short and sweet. Last 2 slides. Acadians. This is a picture of northeast Canada. That's basically just above northeast United States. Trying to show you exactly where Acadians came from. Acadians came down to southern Louisiana from France, and they settled in the region we now know as Cajun country. So the Acadians are one group of people that did not come to cities. The Acadians emigrated. Emigrated is a great word you're going to see in Quizlet today. It means basically to move from an area. They emigrated from French Canada to French Louisiana. Why? 2 large reasons. The first being they spoke the same language as the people in France. French Canada was French speaking, and Louisiana at the time happened to have a lot of French speaking people. So when they got kicked out of Canada, when the Acadians got kicked out of Canada, they naturally looked for regions that, one, had cheap land and good land, but that also the people spoke the similar language or the same language. And that so happened to be southern Louisiana. And last slide of the day, this is an image of people leaving Acadia and going to southern Louisiana. Again, I just simplified the notes from the last slide. French Canadians migrated to Louisiana in the 18th century. Why? Because they were forced out by the British. The British and the French do not get along. So when the British and French started fighting, all the French Canadians had to leave. And again, they were forced to leave and they settled in southern Louisiana. That's it. Jump on the Quizlet, start reviewing those vocabulary terms and terms from this lesson. They're going to help you in tomorrow's MOQ, but more importantly, on the LEAP test. All right, guys, get after it.